On 29 October 2018, a Boeing 737 MAX aircraft, which was registered as PK-LQP and was operated by Lion Air, that crashed in 12 minutes after takeoff and killed everyone on board. Here we are talking about every details of those 12 minutes based on the preliminary report from Indonesian investigation team and how a small piece of sensor took lives of people. All the time we will mention here will be in UTC. At 23:20, ATC gave clearance to take off for the flight JT610 from Jakarta Airport for the destination Pangkal Pinang, and the aircraft took off from runway 25L and intended cruising altitude was 27,000 feet. On board the aircraft, there were 2 pilots, 5 flight attendants, and 181 passengers. Shortly after departure, the controller instructed JT610 to contact Terminal East controller. At 23:21:22, JT610 made initial contact with the controller, who responded that the aircraft was identified on the radar display. After that, the controller instructed JT610 to climb to altitude of 27,000 feet. At 23:21:28, the co-pilot asked the ATC to confirm the altitude of the aircraft as shown on the radar display. Then the controller responded that the aircraft's altitude was 900 feet. At 23:21:53, co-pilot requested approval to ATC to some holding point. The controller asked JT610 about the problem they are facing, and the pilot responded that they have flight control problem. Then the aircraft descended from the altitude of 1,700 feet to 1,600 feet. When ATC saw that, he asked about intended altitude. The co-pilot replied that the intended altitude was 5,000 feet. At this point, it's clear that the aircraft had problem with gaining altitude. At 23:22:05, digital flight data recorder recorded aircraft altitude was approximately 2,150 feet and the flaps were retracted. After the flaps reached 0, the digital flight data recorder recorded automatic aircraft nose down active for 10 seconds, followed by flight crew commanded aircraft nose up. At 23:22:31, ATC instructed JT610 to climb and maintain altitude of 5,000 feet and to turn left heading 050. At 23:22:56, co-pilot asked the controller about the speed as indicated on the radar display. Then ATC responded that the ground speed of the aircraft is 322 knots as shown in radar. At 23:24:51, ATC added flight control probe text for JT610 target level on the radar system as reminder because the flight was experiencing problem. At 23:25:05, ATC instructed JT610 to turn left heading 350 and maintain altitude of 5,000 feet. The instruction was acknowledged by co-pilot. At 23:26:32, ATC instructed JT610 to turn right heading 050 and maintain altitude of 5,000 feet. At 23:26:59, ATC instructed JT610 to turn right heading 070 to avoid traffic, but pilot did not respond to this instruction. After that, the controller called JT610 twice, and finally they responded at 23:27:13. At 23:27:15, ATC instructed JT610 to turn right heading 090. At 23:28:15, ATC provided traffic information to the aircraft and they responded 0. 14 seconds later, ATC instructed the aircraft to turn left heading 050 and maintain the altitude of 5,000 feet. At 23:29:37, ATC asked pilots whether the aircraft was descending because it was descending in the radar display, and co-pilot replied that they had a flight control problem, so they are flying the aircraft manually. At 23:29:45, ATC instructed to maintain heading 050 and to contact the arrival controller for landing. At 23:30:03, co-pilot contacted the arrival controller and advised that they are experiencing a flight control problem. The arrival controller advised to prepare for landing on runway 25L and instructed them to fly heading 070. At 23:31:09, pilot advised the arrival controller that they can't determine altitude of the aircraft because all instruments were indicating different altitudes. Then pilot requested the arrival controller to block altitude 3000 feet above and below for traffic avoidance. The arrival controller asked what altitude the pilot wanted. Then pilot responded 5000. The arrival controller approved the request. At 23:31:54, the flight data recorder stopped recording. The arrival controller tried to contact JT610 twice, but there was no response. At 23:32:19, ATC tried to contact 4 more times with no response. The arrival controller then checked the last known coordinates of the flight and instructed the assistant to report the occurrence to the operations manager. The arrival controller requested several aircraft to hold over the last known position of JT610 and to conduct a visual search of the area. At 00:05, tugboat personnel found floating debris which was about 33 miles from Jakarta on bearing 56 degrees. The debris was later identified as JT610. MCAS, the technology which pilots didn't inform. It took lives of 189 people. Pilots were not trained about this new system in the aircraft. They fought to save the aircraft until the end, but couldn't do anything. In the preliminary report, they found that the problem was MCAS system. After that, Boeing informed the pilots of 737 and airlines that how to handle the same situation. But after 5 months, again the same type of accident took place in Ethiopia and killed everyone on board. Boeing finished testing its software update, but it needs to be approved by FAA. But can we again trust in 737 MAX? This was for today. Please support us by liking the video and subscribing the channel. Thank you for watching and have a good day ahead.